Loro Languaged Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. This is your cozy corner for natural English practice and real-life conversations. I'm Jayden.
And I'm Aria. We are so happy to have you here with us today.
Now, before we jump into today's topic, we have one tiny favor to ask. If you enjoy listening to us, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps other English learners find us.
Exactly. And we would also love it if you left a comment down below. It can be super simple. Just tell us where you're listening from or share your thoughts on today's topic.
And you know what? Typing a comment is actually a great way to practice your English without even realizing it. Your brain is working, choosing vocabulary, putting words in order. It is real practice.
That is so true. So please, don't be nervous about making mistakes. Even just one short sentence is totally fine. We genuinely love reading your thoughts.
All right, are you ready? Let's get right into today's topic. Today's topic is something almost everyone wants.
Confidence.
Exactly. Confidence at work. Confidence in English. Confidence when meeting new people. Confidence when speaking in front of others.
And the funny thing is, people often think confident people never feel nervous.
But that is not true.
Not true at all. A lot of confident people still feel nervous. They just know how to move through it.
That is an important idea. Confidence does not always mean you feel calm inside.
Sometimes confidence means your heart is beating fast, your hands are cold, and your brain is saying, please run away. But you still take one small step forward.
That sounds very dramatic, but very real.
It is real. I remember a moment from years ago. I had to introduce myself in English in front of a small group. It was not even a big presentation, just a simple introduction.
That sounds easy, but I know it can feel scary.
Exactly. The teacher said, please tell us your name, where you're from, and one thing you like. Very simple. But while other people were speaking, I could not listen to them at all.
Because you were preparing your own sentence.
Yes, I kept repeating it in my head. My name is Aria. I am from, my name is Aria. I am from, and the more I repeated it, the more nervous I became.
That is the worst. Your sentence is simple, but your brain turns it into a performance.
Exactly. Then it was my turn. Everyone looked at me. I smiled, but inside I was panicking. I started speaking, and my voice sounded smaller than usual.
Did you make a mistake?
Yes. I forgot the word I wanted to say. I wanted to say I like drawing, but I suddenly forgot drawing. So I said I like making pictures.
Honestly, that still works.
It does, but at that time, I felt embarrassed. I thought everyone would think my English was terrible.
Did they?
No, nobody cared. One person smiled and said, "Oh, art." And I said, "Yes, art." Then I sat down. It was over in 10 seconds.
But in your mind, it probably felt like 10 minutes.
Exactly. Later, I realized something. I was not confident before I spoke. I became a little more confident after I survived the moment.
That is such a good point. Confidence often comes after action, not before action.
Yes. Many people wait to feel confident before they speak, but sometimes you have to speak first, and confidence comes later.
So the big message today is this. You do not need to feel confident to act confident.
Exactly. You can start with small actions.
Key idea. Confidence often comes after action. Take one small step.
Let us talk about what confidence actually looks like in real life.
Good idea, because sometimes people imagine confidence as something very loud.
Like walking into a room, talking to everyone, making jokes, speaking perfectly, and never feeling awkward.
Yes, but that is only one style. Confidence can also be quiet.
Quiet confidence.
Exactly. Quiet confidence is speaking slowly, asking a question when you do not understand, saying no politely, taking a pause before answering, trying again after a mistake.
I like that. Confidence is not always being the loudest person in the room.
Not at all. Sometimes confidence is simply not disappearing when you feel nervous.
That is very useful for English learners.
Yes, because many learners think confidence means speaking fast with perfect grammar.
But real confidence can sound like, sorry, can you say that again?
Exactly. Or, let me think for a second.
Or, I am still learning, but I will try.
Those sentences are confident because you're not hiding.
You are staying in the conversation.
Yes, staying in the conversation is a big form of confidence.
Let us create a scene. You're at a coffee shop. You want to order something, but the menu is long, the music is loud, and the person at the counter is speaking quickly.
A very stressful situation for many learners.
You want a drink, but you're not sure how to say the name. You feel nervous because there's a line behind you.
And the people behind you are not even paying attention. But in your mind, they are all judging you.
Exactly. So what does fear tell you to do?
Fear says, speak fast, get it over with, do not ask questions, do not make trouble.
But speaking fast usually makes things worse.
Yes, your words become unclear. Then the cashier asks you to repeat, and you feel even more nervous.
So what would a confident action look like?
First, slow down, take a small breath. Then say, can I get a medium latte? Please.
Simple.
If you do not understand their question, you can say, sorry, could you say that again?
That is confident.
Yes. It may feel embarrassing, but it is actually normal.
And if you're not sure what to order, you can say, what would you recommend?
Exactly. That is a confident question. It shows you are participating instead of freezing.
So confidence in that scene is not perfect pronunciation. It is staying calm enough to communicate.
Yes. And even if your voice shakes a little, that is okay.
Many people think confidence means no fear.
But confidence often means fear plus action.
Fear plus action, that is a strong phrase.
Yes. If you wait until there is zero fear, you may never start.
Let us talk about body language,
Very important.
because sometimes your words are okay, but your body says, I want to disappear.
Exactly. You look down, your shoulders close, your voice becomes tiny, and you try to finish the conversation as fast as possible.
That can make you feel even less confident.
Yes. Your body can make fear stronger, but it can also help calm you down.
So what should we do?
Stand or sit a little straighter. Relax your shoulders. Keep your chin natural. Look at the person for a moment, not forever. And speak a little slower than your fear wants you to.
A little slower than your fear wants you to. I like that.
Fear always wants speed. Confidence often uses space.
That is a beautiful line.
If someone asks you a question, you do not have to answer immediately. You can pause and say, let me think.
That sounds much more confident than rushing.
Exactly. A pause does not mean you're stupid. It means you are thinking.
English learners sometimes feel they must answer quickly to prove they understand.
Yes, but fast is not always better. Clear is better.
Repeat this. Clear is better than fast.
That might be one of the most useful confidence tips for speaking English.
Definitely.
Let us talk about work confidence.
Work is a big one.
Imagine you're in a meeting. Someone asks for your opinion. You have an idea, but you are afraid your English will not be perfect.
So you say nothing.
Then someone else says almost the same idea, and everyone agrees.
That hurts.
It really does, because the problem was not that you had no idea. The problem was fear.
I have experienced that. You sit there thinking, I should say something. Then you start preparing the sentence. Then the topic changes.
And the moment is gone.
Exactly.
So how can someone act confident in a meeting, even if they feel nervous?
Use entry phrases.
Entry phrases?
Yes. Phrases that help you enter the conversation. For example, can I add something? Or I have one small idea. Or I agree. And I want to add one point.
Those are useful because the beginning is often the hardest part.
Exactly. Once you start, it becomes easier.
Can I add something is short and natural.
I have one small idea is also good because it lowers pressure. You're not saying I have the perfect answer. You're saying I have something to share.
That feels less scary.
Another useful phrase is, I'm not completely sure, but maybe we could try.
That sounds confident but not aggressive.
Yes, confidence does not have to sound arrogant.
That is important. Some people confuse confidence with arrogance.
Arrogance says, I'm always right. Confidence says, I can share my thought, and I can also listen.
Very good distinction.
In a meeting, a confident sentence could be, I'm not completely sure, but maybe we could try a simpler approach.
Or, I have one small suggestion. Maybe we can send the email first and discuss the details later.
Exactly. Simple English, clear idea.
What if someone disagrees?
That is another confidence moment. You can say, that makes sense. I see your point.
That is calm.
Yes, you do not have to fight. Confidence means you can handle disagreement without falling apart.
So if someone says your idea may not work, you can say, yes, that is a good point. Maybe we need to adjust it.
Exactly. That sounds mature and confident.
Let us talk about social confidence.
Meeting new people.
Yes. You walk into a room where you do not know many people. Maybe a class, a work event, a party, or a community group.
The worst moment is entering the room,
Because everyone seems like they already know each other.
even if they do not.
You look around, hold your drink, check your phone, and pretend you're busy.
The phone becomes a safety blanket.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people wait for someone else to talk to them first.
But the other person may also be waiting.
Yes, confidence can be starting with one simple sentence.
What kind of sentence?
Have you been here before?
Very simple.
Or, is this your first time here?
That works at classes, events, clubs, and gatherings.
Yes. Another one is, how do you know everyone here?
That is very natural at a party.
Exactly. You do not need a brilliant opening line. You need a simple, low-pressure question.
Confidence does not always sound impressive. Sometimes it sounds friendly.
Yes, friendly is often better than impressive.
Let us create a scene. You are at a language exchange event. You feel nervous. You see someone standing alone. What do you say?
You can smile and say, Hi, is this your first time here?
If they say yes, you can say, same here. I was a little nervous before coming.
That is honest and warm.
If they say no, I have been here a few times, you can say, oh, nice. Do you like it so far?
Now the conversation continues.
Very simple.
Exactly. Confidence is not one big performance. It is a chain of small moments.
Small moment, small question, big confidence.
Let us talk about confidence when making mistakes.
This is one of the biggest fears for English learners.
Many people think if they make a mistake, the conversation is ruined.
But it is not. Mistakes are normal. Even native speakers restart sentences, forget words, and say things in a messy way.
All the time.
The confidence skill is recovery.
Recovery means what you do after the mistake.
Exactly. If you say the wrong word, you can say, sorry. Then try again.
For example, I go to the store yesterday. Sorry, I went to the store yesterday.
Simple correction. No panic.
Or if your sentence becomes messy, say, let me say that again,
That is one of the best phrases for confidence.
because it gives you a second chance.
Yes. It tells the other person, I know what I want to say. I just need to organize it.
Another phrase is, how can I explain this?
Very natural. It gives you time.
Or, I forgot the word, but it is the thing you use for.
Yes. If you forget umbrella, say, I forgot the word, but it is the thing you use when it rains.
That is communication.
Exactly. Confidence means you do not stop just because one word is missing.
You find another way.
Yes. You walk around the missing word.
That image is helpful.
If the road is blocked, you take another road.
Let us talk about inner voice.
The voice inside your head.
Sometimes that voice is not very kind.
Not kind at all. It says, you sound stupid. Your English is bad. Everyone is judging you. You should stop talking.
That voice can destroy confidence before you even begin.
Yes. So you need a different inner voice. Not fake positivity, but helpful truth.
What does helpful truth sound like?
It sounds like, I'm allowed to take my time, or I do not need to be perfect, or I can make a mistake and still continue.
Those are powerful.
Another one is, my English is a work in progress.
That is a great phrase.
It reminds you that your English is developing. It is not finished, and that is okay.
A lot of people feel ashamed because their English is not where they want it to be.
Yes, but shame does not help you speak. Shame makes you hide.
Practice helps you speak.
Exactly. Confidence grows from evidence. Every time you speak and survive, your brain gets evidence.
Evidence that says, I can do this.
Yes, maybe not perfectly, but I can do it.
Let us talk about confident language.
What do you mean?
Some words make us sound unsure even when our idea is good.
Like maybe, I guess, I do not know. Sorry, too much.
Exactly. Of course, these words are useful sometimes, but if every sentence begins with sorry, maybe this is stupid, but you sound less confident.
Yes, you're apologizing before you even speak.
So what can we say instead?
Instead of sorry, this might be wrong. Say, I have an idea.
Good.
Instead of maybe this is stupid, say, maybe we could try this.
Much better.
Instead of I do not know if this makes sense, say, let me explain my idea.
That sounds more confident.
Yes, you do not need to attack your own idea before others hear it.
That is important.
But again, confidence does not mean you pretend to be certain about everything.
Right? You can still say, I'm not completely sure, but here is my thought.
That sounds honest and confident. Confidence is not a clean road. It is full of awkward moments.
But you keep going. Let us do one final story scene. Imagine you're at work. There is a meeting. You have been quiet for most of it. Your heart is beating fast because you have an idea, but you are scared to say it.
You tell yourself, my English is not perfect. Maybe someone else has a better idea? Maybe I should stay quiet.
But then you remember one phrase.
I have one small idea.
So you take a breath. And you say, I have one small idea. Maybe we could try a simpler approach first.
Your voice is not perfect. Maybe your grammar is not perfect.
But people understand you.
Someone nods.
Someone says, yes, that could work.
And suddenly you realize, I did not need to feel confident first.
I just needed to begin.
Exactly. That is how confidence is built.
One small brave moment at a time.
And the next time, it will be a little easier,
Not easy. Maybe.
but easier.
That is real progress.
Kiwi's tip. Confidence is not waiting until fear disappears. Confidence is taking one small step while fear is still there.
That is a perfect tip.
Yes. You can be nervous and still speak.
Try this phrase. I have one small idea.
And that is all for today's episode of Easy English with Kiwi.
We hope this conversation helped you understand confidence in a new way.
Remember, confidence is not perfection.
It is practice. It is action. It is staying in the conversation.
So this week, try one small, confident action.
Ask one question. Share one idea, say one sentence, even if you feel nervous.
Small step. Brave voice. See you next time.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's conversation.
We really hope you enjoyed it. And remember, no matter what you're struggling with right now, whether it is saving money, learning English, or just getting through the week, take it one step at a time. Be kind to yourself.
Absolutely. Learning a language is a journey, and you are doing great just by being here and listening.
If you found this episode helpful, or even just a little bit funny, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. It is the best way to support what we do.
And please don't forget to leave a comment down below. Tell us what you thought about today's topic, or just say hi. We read every single comment, and we love hearing from you.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and trust the process.
We will catch you in the next episode. Take care, everyone. Bye.